I want to share with you a real story of a Vietnamese woman. Her name is Ha. Ha is a brilliant woman. She is smart, she is very generous, and she is very kind. However, since she entered into her marriage, she found herself trapped. And she became a very different person. She is more aggressive, less confident, and very much low self-esteem. Every time when she got beaten by her husband, she had no one to go to. She had nowhere to report the abuse. And it's pretty much considered as a family issue, something very private. So she thinks that that was her destiny. With some support from her sister, Ha was able to escape to the city with her two daughters. One was only 10 months old, and the other was only 3 years old. She had no job, no incomes, and her future was very unclear with two daughters. The only thing she could do at that time is to return back to her abusive husband. For several times she did it. And there was evidence that showed that it takes a woman up to 7 attempts to really leave their abusive partner. Ha in this story is actually my sister. She is one of the many women in Vietnam that have been blamed by their society, by their in-laws, even by their families and relatives for the issues that they find themselves in. The issues here, the gender-based violence. Ha was a victim for 7 years, and she couldn't find her way out. To give you more context, in Vietnam, 63% of women experience gender-based violence. And of those numbers, 90% did not seek help at the time it happened. And in Vietnam, a country of 100 million people, we only have 3 shelters that are located in the big cities. That means all of the women who are living in the rural areas, they can't get access to the services. I think this number needs to change. So after many years of helping my sister, I knew that this problem needs to be confronted and solved. I just didn't know how at that time. So I spent a lot of time talking to social workers in the space and learned about how shelters really operate in Vietnam. I come to a conclusion that in order to support the survivors of gender-based violence, it requires economic empowerment. And that's how I started my social enterprise, Hope House. The first social enterprise in Vietnam provides employment, training, and support to this group of women. Ha was actually my first staff member. She built a new venture and a new dream with me, while she was rebuilt her life with a stable income, dignity, and empowerment. She finally left her abusive husband behind. But running a social enterprise is not that easy in the space of gender-based violence. I made 2 wrong assumptions when I started my enterprise. Number one assumption was that every woman could cook. Now, it was actually not always right. And the second assumption was that my friend promised that I could get an order of 500 lunch boxes for their staff. After I launched, they disappeared. So that was a big lesson learned. Through our training program and employment, many women have transformed their lives. But to create a bigger impact, I wanted to move into prevention, because that's where the radical change can happen. I don't have a complete answer to this problem, but this is what I know. The number one challenge is the taboo. In my culture, people don't really talk about gender-based violence. It's still something very private, and they probably don't know how to. So to start the conversation, I and my team started a lot of events, a series of events that can bring people together, bring the community together. Our idea is to use these events together, talking about gender-based violence in a fun and engaging way. And the idea is to normalize the topic and model how to talk about it. I really like the ideas of bringing the community together and the community events because it could reach children, it could reach students, it could reach men, women, policymakers, change makers together. Because gender-based violence is not a women's issue, it's our issues. The second challenge is that around the social norms in Vietnam around relationship, men cannot express emotion, they gotta be strong, they gotta earn money, being a breadwinner of the house. Women are expected to stay married no matter what. I think this problem, it can be best solved through preventative educational programs. Here in Australia, there is a program called Respectful Relationship that I really like. We hope that one day we'll bring this concept to Vietnam. And I and my team at the moment are building an e-learning platform and a Vietnamese curriculum based on this model of respectful relationship. We are hoping to bring it to our first school within the next 24 months. I share this with you today because I think if you are tackling any wide problem in the society, look for some model of success that work elsewhere and bring it home. This is what we are trying to do. Today I share with you the story of my sister and how her situation catalyzed my action. I share with you about the change the path that we could make to change the taboos and to adopt more best practice elsewhere to make it better. Today, as I stand here, I'm filled with hope. Hope for a future that every woman, whether they are in Vietnam or anywhere in the world, they can live free from the threat of gender-based violence. I hope that my sister's story can inspire you in some ways to create action and to consider the action that you could join or participate in any community that you are in. Because this is not something any of us can solve alone. It's a collective effort to end gender-based violence. Thank you.